PNC. So, Joanna, it's been dry lately, right?
And it depends on where you're located at. But for me, it hasn't been raining for about 2 weeks where I was staying.
Where were you staying?
Barrigada and Agana, Manila.
Wow.
Here and there.
You stay all those places?
Oh, no.
Oh, you mean like driving around?
Yeah. That's my distance. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Well, and this dryness will probably be good for tourists, but for us, it must have been kind of, colder than usual. Don't ask me why coldness and dryness goes together, but the temperature were too low, so that too explains why it has been so cold. For tonight, dry air from continent will continue to dominate Marianas, but NWS says different weather models show a little bit of moisture approaching as shear line is coming over the weekend, so expect little sprinkle over the weekends. Let's go take a look at weather. Expect partly cloudy skies today with close to no chance of rain for tomorrow as well, today and tomorrow before noon. But starting Friday afternoon, chance of rain will increase to 20% and we'll be expecting isolated showers. Over the weekend, skies will be mostly cloudy with isolated showers due to the shear line approaching. Dry northeast winds will continue to blow over the region with speed of up to 50 miles per hour for tonight and tomorrow. But again, as shear line is approaching, things will change, right? Speed of winds will increase up to 20 on Saturday. Temperatures will remain lower 70s to upper 80s on Guam, but highs will hit only up to 85 on Saipan.
So it's still dry.
Still
Weather's
dry.
Yeah,
Pretty
I noticed
dry.
because I'm able to keep my windows open and let the air flow, and my floors don't get sticky from humidity. So it's really nice. Yeah, it's great. Well, thanks, Joanna, for that weather report. So Ocean View Middle School had a shortage of food to give to students yesterday. And PNC's Rizal Romana spoke with Department of Education Deputy Superintendent Rob Millay to find out what happened.
Ocean View Middle School did not have enough lunches to serve their students. Department of Education Deputy Superintendent Rob Millay confirmed the food shortage and says he received a report that food contractor Sodexo Guam didn't prepare enough lunch plates. A majority of DOE schools are served by Sodexo. The food is usually prepared at Southern High School and distributed to the other schools. PNC learned that yesterday the first set of food plates were rejected by Ocean View Middle School because the food was not at the proper temperature. The second batch of food was not accepted because the receivers thought they were leftovers. However, Millay says the report indicates a miscommunication. The second batch of plates were actually backup. Millay tells us that the department is looking into the shortage of food and will be working closely with Sodexo to prevent a situation like this from happening again. Students who did not receive the planned menu were served an alternate menu which included pork and beans. The food vendor contract is up at the end of the school year, which means it's time to review the lunch program again before DOE puts out a request for proposal for a new one. Rizal Romanas, PNC News.
With the passing of board member Albert San Agustin last week, the Guam Education Board was left with another vacant seat in their team. However, Chairman Peter Atta announced that someone will be taking on that role soon, and that other position, which has been vacant for almost a year, has been filled as well. Atta says Governor Eddie Calvo appointed Macy's Vice President and Store Manager Ryan Torres as the new business representative member. Atta says Torres will be sworn in sometime this week or next week. As for who will take San Agustin's place, he says it'll be former Guam Department of Education Superintendent and former Board Chairwoman Rosie Tanatungo.
The law, as I was made to understand, is very clear that it will be the next person in line, but who must have 50% or more of the number of votes of whom he or she is replacing. That would mean that we wanted to wait until Mr. San Agustin, in due respect, Mr. San Agustin is laid to rest, and then we will begin. I will have to write a letter to the Guam Election Commission informing them that we officially have a vacancy. That way they will inform us, and then the governor has to do a confirmation.
On behalf of the DOE family, Superintendent John Fernandez sends his deepest sympathy and condolences to San Agustin's family during this difficult time. Fernandez says St. Augustine will truly be missed.
After 9 years with the Guam Girl Scouts, Executive Director Vicki Fish will be retiring in September. Fish officially announced the news to the media this morning with 2 board members at her side. When she began her position, the Guam Girl Scouts had 400 members, but today there are 1,000. The membership has also diversified from mostly military dependents to one that now reflects the island's multicultural population. Fish also developed a number of programs for the Girl Scouts through local partnerships, but she says it's the girls who make her most proud of her work.
When you see a girl try something she thought she couldn't do and achieve it, that burst of, oh, I did it. And to know that took place in the framework of Girl Scouting, or to have a girl say, this is the best day of my life when they're enjoying an outdoor sports activity.
Fish doesn't have any plans to leave the island once she retires. She says she plans to pursue her love of art and find new ways to better the community.
Former legislative FOIA Council member Barry Mead says he doesn't agree with fellow FOIA Council member Robert Klitsky's statements that the council was ineffective and didn't resolve any complaints. Mead says that Klitsky was off island in October when meetings were held that resolved the 3 complaints that were before them. One complaint involved UOG and Dr. Ron McNinch. Mead says the matter was resolved as UOG and Dr. McNinch agreed to work out the problem amongst themselves. Tim Rohr filed 2 complaints against the legislature as well.
Our understanding with Mr. Rohr was that the issue was satisfied. And there has been no further communication from him or any further communication from Mr. McNinch.
Mead says that the council was successful and he believes it did contribute to transparency in the government.
An island icon was welcomed back into the public view today. Foremost Foods unveiled its iconic cow statue in front of the company's warehouse and distribution center this afternoon. For many years, the statue, lovingly named Cha Mu Rita, provided a landmark to the company offices off Marine Corps Drive. When the offices moved to Barrigada Heights 2 years ago, Cha Mu Rita was taken down from the roof. Foremost CEO Marcus Fong says the company is happy to have the company icon back in the public view. He adds that Cha Mu Rita is now on the ground where people can interact and take photos with her.
Well, it was 71 years ago when U.S. forces launched an aerial attack on the Truk Lagoon during World War II. While a lot of time has passed, remnants of the war can still be found below the sea. PNC's Betsy Brown has more on Operation Hailstone.
70 years of peace in the Pacific have transformed the once war-ravaged Truk Lagoon into what the FSM state now boasts to be a diver's haven. Allied forces launched the Operation Hailstone attack on February 17, 1944, causing more than 45 Japanese ships to sink to the bottom of the lagoon. Local author Diane Strong says the 2-day attack wasn't just devastating for the Japanese, but for the people of Chuuk as well.
Continued bombing after the 2-day attack caused not just food shortages, starvation, of course wounding from the attacks, which still carried through to April of 1945.
Strong wrote a biography on Kimio Isaac, who witnessed the attack as a 17-year-old boy. This week, Strong is in Chuuk to give a voice to the Americans who died during Operation Hailstone. She's the keynote speaker for an event commemorating the 71st anniversary of the attack.
Last year, a Chuukese survivor of the war, gave a very poignant account of what it was like to live under the Japanese, during the war, and the aftermath. This year, I'm going to speak as the mother of Lieutenant Bridges, who died bombing the Ikoku Maru.
Strong says the attack on Truk Lagoon was 15 times more powerful than the attack on Pearl Harbor.
It changed the war because our allies did their stepping stones towards Tokyo. It enabled them to come to Guam, Saipan, and Tinian.
Witness to War will soon be available in electronic form as well as in print
in Japanese. Betsy Brown, PNC News.
Wow, so Vicky Fish,
Yeah,
19
earlier
years.
we had that story about Vicky Fish, 19
19
years
years Girl
in the
Scouts.
Girl Scouts.
That's a really long time.
Yeah. Congratulations to Vicky Fish for all that service in the Girl Scouts. And
Yes.
speaking of Girl Scouts, Blake Watson is next with sports.
Sports coming up not too far away. We fly with Eagles. I'm talking to you, Harvest. Double shot. Eagles tennis, Eagles basketball. See you there.